Welcome to BZN TV. I'm your host, Britt Madrid Mogensen, and tonight we have two amazing guests on the show. First, best-selling author and body language expert, Vanessa Van Edwards, is here to help you turn up your it factor. She has science-backed cues for charisma that you can start using today. It's so fascinating. Then, model, busy mom, and founder of the award-winning beauty brand Beauty Bio, Jamie O'Banion, is going to demonstrate her brand's new Glow Facial tool. The device gently vacuums your pores and delivers the pro-grade results of clinical skincare treatments in the comfort of your own home. You guys know what I'm talking about, those $200 to $300 treatments. Well, you're going to save a lot of money and your skin will thank you. So without further ado, let's hear what these fabulous guests have to say. Today we have Vanessa Van Edwards, who is the lead investigator at Science of People. She's also a best-selling author, and she has written the books Captivate, The Science of Succeeding with People, and Cues, the book she's talking about today, Master the Secret, Language of Charismatic Communication. I'm obsessed with this book, and I'm obsessed with you now. Thank you for being here, Vanessa.
Oh my goodness, I'm obsessed with you. I'm so happy to be here. Let's talk about charisma and cues and all the good things.
All of the good things. Well, first of all, will you tell everyone watching why they need to understand charisma and cues? Because it's a huge deal.
What most people don't realize is that we are constantly sending social signals to each other. In the average video meeting or call, we are sending hundreds of signals about who we are and how we want to be treated. And this is the most important aspect of charisma and cues. The cues you send to others, tell them how they should treat you. So if you want to be treated with more respect, more likability, more influence, you have to send the right cues because it makes people treat you better. As we are very contagious, our emotions are contagious. We've talked about a lot of other kinds of contagion, but actually our confidence is contagious. Our charisma is contagious. So what can happen is we're in a professional setting, we're burnt out, we're bored. And so we sterilize our communication. We go stoic. That's a big problem that's happening in leadership today is we think that we have to hide all of our signals or we have to minimize our cues. That actually makes it very difficult for people to understand us and also want to connect with us. So if you have people who aren't replying to your emails or you're with people and you just don't feel like you're clicking or there's like a mismatch, what's happening is you are not sending the right signals. You are not being positively contagious and people don't want to catch it. The magic formula that research found, this is from Princeton University, they found that very highly charismatic people have a high balance of two traits, warmth and competence. That people who are highly warm, they're signaling trust and friendliness and likability, and we immediately want to be on their side. But at the same time, they also have to signal competence, power, capability, memorability, that we like that balance to be in both trusting and capable hands. So the key is, if you want people to reply to your emails, if you want to be taken more seriously, you have to know how to cue warmth and competence in equal measure.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That makes so much sense. When you put it like that, that clicks. Is there anybody that you think is like a really good example of that perfect balance?
So many. Okay. So Brene Brown is a great example of this. So, if you watch Brene Brown is a social worker and researcher, storyteller. I highly recommend go watch her original TED Talk. Now, her original TED Talk, she even admits she had no idea this would be viewed by a couple more than 1,000 people. And she hits the stage and she doesn't speak to you like a polished, perfect speaker. She talks to you like she's having a conversation. And what's important about this is she hits the stage and she immediately exudes, I could be your friend. We could be sitting at coffee, but then hits you with the competence, her research, her data, her insights. So Brene Brown has that perfect combination of vulnerability and openness, but also she knows what she's talking about. Mm-hmm. Another, of course, classic example, Oprah, right? Oprah does this really well. She actually changes her warmth and competence based on the setting. The reason why I think she's been so successful in so many of her interviews is if she wants someone to open up and really go deep, she's warm, warm, warm. If she wants to hit them hard, she can be super confident and hard hitting. Those are people who are using those warmth and competence cues to be able to achieve their goals.
Well, and in your book, you talk about, oh my gosh, weird. I opened the page. I've been reading it, but you talk about how there's like the charisma zone, there's the danger zone, and then also like how people can tell if they fall more to the competent side or the warm side. Will you tell us about that?
So you mentioned something really important. I've been talking about warmth and competence. Here's the problem. Most of us have an imbalance. That sweet
Okay.
spot is the charisma zone, really high warmth, really high competence. What's difficult is most people are not a balance. They lean a little higher in warmth or they lean a little higher in competence. And what happens is, so for highly warm folks, this sounds like you. You're highly warm, you're a cheerleader, you're a supporter. Usually you are, you love to collaborate, you love to be on a team, you want to be liked. Highly warm people, they prioritize being liked. The problem is that oftentimes they prioritize being liked and they don't get enough respect. So highly warm people, they're invited, they're always included, but they're not always listened to. They're often interrupted. On the competent side, you have people who are taken very seriously. This is a lot of my engineers. A lot of our students are high achievers, C-suite engineer. They have a lot of technical skills. They are off the charts competence, but they forget about the warmth. So they're taken very seriously. Everyone listens to their ideas. They're not included. They're often told they're cold or intimidating or hard to talk to. And so if you fall in the imbalance, you run into problems in your communication, either being taken seriously or not being included. And the last part of the zone is the danger zone. So the danger zone is where I was. This is people who are neither warm or competent enough. This happens when we're so anxious or we have imposter syndrome or we're afraid. So we withhold all of our cues. We don't have enough warmth or competence cues. And that sterility, that stoicism that can get us into trouble means people don't take you seriously and they don't include you.
Mm. Ouch. So, how can people begin to work on developing? You said people can develop charisma. You're charismatic off the charts. So, like, how did you do it? And how can other people start working on it?
Okay, so the very first step is to understand where you default. So everyone has a default. And by the way, the warmth and competence model is across genders and cultures and races. They actually repeated that this model works around the world. What's really important is everyone has a default. So I want you to think about, where do you default on your worst day, on your best day? Where do you typically go? So for example, when I get really nervous, I laugh uncontrollably. I try to be default into really being liked. So I'll default into high warmth, which
Okay.
is a problem, especially when I'm very nervous because people don't take me seriously. So where do you default? Other
Yep.
people, by the way, highly competent folks, when they're nervous, they default to name dropping, fact sharing,
Oh. Mhm.
overly wordy, overly explanative. So people have different leanings.
Interesting.
I want you to know where you default because it's very hard to know where to go if you don't know where you default. So if you fall high in warmth, we're going to dial up competence. If you fall high in competence, I want to dial up warmth. If you're danger zone, great, we're going to dial up both. We have to know which direction we go. So that's the very, very first step.
Interesting. Oh my gosh. I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm like, I definitely do what you do and I default to warmth. And so, and
Right.
and like you said, people sometimes won't take you seriously. So there's so many different settings and different cues that you talk about in this book. It's so fabulous. Everyone has to read this, just the way that it impacts our lives on a daily basis. But let's say someone is in a situation where they're at like a networking event and they want to be warm. They also want to be competent. What are some practical, real world cues that they can just start working on or keep in mind?
Okay, so the next kind of step is to think about how you're communicating this warmth and confidence, right? So if you know your default, where are we sending signals to others about that default? So there are 4 different cue channels, right? There's 4 different ways that we submit or send these social signals. The first one is verbal. So the words we use, this is the most obvious type of communication. Our emails, our texts, our LinkedIn profile, what's on our name tag at a networking event, our opening line or our opening question at a networking event, verbal. That's the most obvious one. The second one is nonverbal. So nonverbal, this is our body language, our facial expressions, our gestures, our posture. How we hold our bodies also signals a lot about our warmth and competence. That's actually 60 to 90% of our communication. What's crazy
Oh my
about this
gosh.
is the lowest study we could find was 60%. And that blew my mind, because what do you do when you prepare for an interview or a date is you're thinking about the words, the answers. We script out our perfect words. But that's
Totally.
actually only focusing on 40% of your ability. So nonverbal is the big bucket. I spend a lot of cues talking about nonverbal. The third one is actually my favorite. It's vocal. So we don't realize that how we say our words, our volume, our pitch, our cadence, our tone also conveys our warmth and competence. And the smallest one, the last one is our imagery. That's the colors that we wear, what's behind us in our backgrounds, the props we hold in our photos, how we wear our hair, our jewelry, our tie. Those all send signals to the world about our warmth and competence. So we have to think about what are our easiest channels. So a networking event, verbal and nonverbal are super powerful. On a video call or a Zoom call are just the nonverbal at the top. Our vocal and our verbal is important. In an email, it's just our verbal. So optimizing your channel for your location can also be really helpful.
Oh my gosh, I love this so much. I feel like, the more we master these cues, truly like the happier and more productive we can be in our lives. And we can help other people feel that way too. Vanessa, when you, in the book, you talked about, this was so interesting to me, Margaret Thatcher and her voice and will you tell everybody about that? That is so interesting.
So what we don't realize, so research finds that we decide how confident someone is within 200 milliseconds of hearing them speak. 200 milliseconds.
Oh my gosh.
The reason for that is yes. And there's so much power in our vocal power if we just learn to leverage it. The reason for this is because if we are anxious, it affects our vocal cords. If we are confident, it affects our vocal cords. So right now I'm working very hard to stay nice and low. When I get anxious or worried, I tend to go a little bit higher in my voice like this. And you can actually hear that anxiety, and it's really hard to listen to me when I'm up here.
I can.
Right. Like if I were to say, and here's a very simple one, and Margaret Thatcher had an amazing tutor in Laurence Olivier, the famed actor, who said to her, if you speak in the higher end of your voice, which she had been doing, no one will take you seriously. You will not be elected prime minister. And so she learned to use the lower end of her voice. So here's the difference. When you say hello, always use the lower end of your voice. The difference is people tend to answer their phone at the top of their voice. Hello. Or they say on Zoom, hi, how are you?
Totally.
Oh yeah, I'm doing good.
Uh-huh.
What I want you to do is instead, I want you to speak on the out breath. I want you to speak on the lowest end. So instead of hi, I want you to say, hey. Both are my voice, but they sound totally different. Margaret Thatcher even found this was so powerful for her that when she wanted to sound imposing and strong and commanding, she drank ice water. And in her left hand, she had honey lemon water for when she wanted to sound warm. So she would literally, in a broadcast, drink the honey lemon water when she wanted to be warm and drink the ice water when she wanted to sound competent.
Wow. Taking it to the next level. I like that. All right. Everybody get your drinks ready, your beverages ready to go the next time you need to have an important conversation. What is some of the other information that you've learned through your studies that you think people would be really surprised to hear?
I think red flags are people's typical favorites. Red flags are these small behavior cues that raise our alarm. Like as humans, we just don't like them. So for example, one of them is a lip purse. So a lip purse is when we press our lips together into a hard line. And typically when we're withholding or we don't like something, we'll press our lips together as if to say like, keep it in or don't let anything in. And so we find if you're with someone and you ask them a hard question and they lip purse, they're trying to think of a good way to hold it back or not say something. So that's like a really interesting little red flag to kind of keep out for. Another one is the universal gesture for shame. So when we're ashamed, we typically touch the side of our forehead with our fingers, either side. You'll notice if you watch prank shows or like if you ever watch Punk'd, every time someone is embarrassed and they reveal the trick, people go, oh, and they cover their face or they touch the side of their forehead. Mm-hmm. That's an important one, actually, to not be confused with anger or confidence. So for example, in sales, I do a lot of sales trainings. This is a really important cue that if you're talking to someone about price or money, people are often embarrassed to talk about money. And so you'll notice people will be like, let me think. And what they're actually doing is they're ashamed or embarrassed. And that's a really important thing because if you're in sales, you want to make them feel reassured. You don't want to have them be embarrassed. That's your perfect opportunity to say, you know what, I'm going to send you the whole budget. You can read on your own time. Or, you know what, we have a payment plan. So if that price is a little out of your budget, no worries. We can work something out with you. That is a very different response if you see that little cue.
Oh my gosh. Yes. It makes such a difference. Wow. It's really interesting to see it. When you demonstrate these cues, we can see just how much is going on underneath the surface of our, conscious awareness every single day. Are there any things that you have noticed, like when it comes to people's cues that you think maybe people are doing wrong that they need to just become more aware of? Like anything that really stands out to you before you go? Because I know you have to
Yes.
go. We could keep you here forever.
Yes.
This is so interesting.
I
Oh
know,
my gosh.
I love talking about this stuff. The biggest mistake people make is being stoic. And
Okay.
this is especially a problem the smarter you are. What I found is people who are exceptionally talented and smart, they rely on their technical skills. They know they have the knowledge, they know they have the know-how. And so they think, I don't got to worry about all the rapport and the trust and the people skills. I'm going to focus on my technical skills. So what they do is they show up to their presentations or their interviews or their negotiations or their pitches, and they are unreadable. They suppress any and all cues. They try to make their face unreadable. They try to make their body unreadable. And all they do is focus on their verbal answers. Like we talked about at the beginning, that's like focusing on 40% of your ability. So it's incredibly important is I do not want you to hide your warmth. I do not want you to hide your competence, that people skills, those cues are just as important as technical skills. And what the research found, and this is the quote that, shocked me and why I wrote the book, competence without warmth leaves people feeling suspicious. So you can be the smartest person in the room, but if you don't show it with warmth, people will not believe it.
Well, this book is a must read. Everyone needs to get this book right now. You will be thanking yourself. And Vanessa, tell us where else people can follow you, find you, and continue to work on all of these different ways of communicating.
Yes. So I also read the Audible book. If you like audio, I get to do a lot of the vocal impressions on there too. I'm V Van Edwards on all the social networks, and I love to break down the cues of people in the news, politicians, badly behaving celebrities. So if you want to see the cues in action, you're always welcome to check out my YouTube channel. It's all at scienceofpeople.com.
So fantastic. Well, Vanessa, it has been such a joy having you here. I'm going to continue to follow along, read all your books, and do all the things because I want to learn about these cues. So thank you again. We appreciate you.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for having me.
For the full interview, just check out the Be Zen with Brit podcast. All right. Well, today we have Beauty Bio founder and CEO, Jamie O'Banion. She is going to be giving us all of the skincare details that we need to know. I'm so excited about Jamie's brand because her inspo is truth and beauty. And you guys, she has some wisdom. So buckle up. Jamie, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. This is such a fun time of year to be talking skincare because our skin's transitioning, right? We're coming off summer, right, girl? Like into winter. This is a great time of year to talk skincare basics and some of the most important things.
Yes. And I can't wait to talk about this new tool. But before we get to that, I know it's so exciting. I've been using it. I was like, oh, I already have the head off because I've been using it. It's already in my rotation. But can you tell us more about your brand and the mission and how you guys really are taking the science of skincare to the next level?
Yeah, absolutely. I was born into this industry. My dad is an incredible physician. He's a really brilliant biochemist. And when we were really young, he became an owner in one of the top labs in the US that makes the best peptides and retinoids. And so we make really great performance product for some of the big four that we sell next to at Sephora and Nordstrom and Harrods and Ulta and everywhere. And then some that are private label, maybe for like a plastic surgeon or an influencer or someone. And so Beauty Bio is focused on edited products that are all third-party clinically tested. What we've just launched, and I'm so excited, we have a total of, I thought it was 7, and I sat down with our legal team. We have now filed 10 international separate patents for this tool. We just launched our amazing glow facial tool. It's sold out in 72 hours, which is crazy.
What? Oh my gosh, people need this tool.
It's so good. So if you've ever had a professional hydration facial, right?
Yes.
They're all the rage. I've heard that J-Lo has one like in her house.
Of course
she does. But now we can all have the J-Lo, right? Those are my initials.
Exactly.
Like, offer the world something, right?
Yes. Thank you. We need you, Jamie.
We are here. I'm here for you. And that is a big pillar of our brand, is just giving access. because it's not helpful if like half of 1% of the world can do something. So this tool, Glow Facial, think of it like taking the dirty car through the car wash. Not only does it make your skin like the inside of a puppy's ear,
the softest. That is
right?
the best
Like
description.
ever. Charmin Ultra Soft, ultra. It literally infuses plumping hyaluronic acid and clarifying salicylic acid into the skin. And we took it a step further because even professional hydration facials, again, $300 each. And good for you if you can afford a $300 facial every week. But for the rest of us plebeians, right? We now have Glow Facial, so we can also glow like the stars. We added blue light, which even professional hydration facials don't have. That's a separate $200 treatment. So this is amazing because before I even get into the mode where it gives you the facial, and P.S., this is your facialist. You can name her or him. Like,
oh, yes, we should.
Literally, all you do is glide and glow. It does the rest for you. Like, it is so good proof. But if I had a little breakout before an event, I could just put that on there hold it for 2 minutes while you're, walking around getting a glass of water. And it kills at 415 nanometers. It kills P bacterium. And that is your leading cause of breakouts. So it's really amazing. So then you just put low, one more little push, low, medium, and then high. And it comes with the concentrate that you fill inside your tank. And it's actually diluted. You dilute it with water like this. So you can see, I already filled it up because I already started glow facialing. So you fill the concentrate to the concentrate line, then you fill the rest with tap water. This is I've already started glow facialing this morning. You can see this is a little bit cloudy. My skin's in pretty good condition because I've been doing trainings. So this is about as clear as my waist tank has ever looked. But I did three glow facials yesterday.
Wow.
And it's crazy because many waist chambers, I'll show you a little picture, look like this.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, you'll see like blackheads floating and then whiteheads. Look at all of the blackheads that are pulled out in that before and after. Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
So
and it's so satisfying. Oh, it says so satisfying on there. It is
satisfying. Look at that.
It really is.
You're pulling the congestion out while you're infusing. And I'm a science nerd. I love understanding like what's happening to my skin. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go low, medium, I'll go high. Okay. Now, I'll show you in just a second here. If you ever lose contact with the skin, it'll give you like a little beep. It is seriously so easy. So I'm going to prime it on the back of my hand. So this pulls the skincare into the chamber. See how it's wet? That is all that yummy plumping hyaluronic acid. I use the wide attachment. It comes with a wide and a narrow. This narrow is like digging for gold. Like when you use this around your nose, you pull everything out. So I use the wide head. The whole thing takes 4 minutes, you guys, literally like 4.5 minutes. It is so easy. So I'm just going to glide it on my skin like this, and you can hear everything suctioning out. Listen to that. So I'm just pulling everything out of my skin, everything out of the pores. And here's the reality. A clean pore is a less noticeable pore. So while it's pulling this stuff out, it's infusing the skin. And I like to take my hand and kind of rub in the extra skincare. It's infusing my skin with that pumping hyaluronic acid. I have the most sensitive skin on the planet Earth. And you can see I'm getting a little bit flushed. That is totally normal, like 100% normal. But don't worry if your skin doesn't get flushed, because I'm like, is it working? It's totally working.
Right. Yeah.
The flush just goes away in 60 seconds. Then I'll take it on the forehead. Then I'll pause it and I'll swap the heads just like this. So there's a little tab on the back. You can just and because we are also the customer, all of our Beauty Bio babes and bros that work at headquarters, like we are the customer too. We thought through every detail, like even it's easy to take it on and off. It comes with the cutest little brush. So you can clean out everything when you're like, it's so, so easy. So you can see the little narrow head is quite a bit smaller. And then what was it like the first time you saw your waist chamber? Did you freak out?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, I'm one of those people who, I don't want to admit my beauty sins, but I would be a picker if I don't discipline myself.
That's right.
It's that same satisfaction because you see like the oiliness. And then it was just so cool. It was almost like oil droplets.
Yeah.
I could even see that too. Oh, I loved it. I was like, I'm obsessed already. Like,
it's amazing. And I say minimum use it twice a week, right? Okay. And then you'll see your waist chamber. So clearly I have some oil because look how much cloudier it's already starting to look than it was. Oh, it's like a Dyson vacuum for your pores. Literally. It's like,
love it.
Dyson vacuum for your pores while infusing that skincare. And what's nuts is everything that I'm pulling out, I've been living with. Like I slept with it last night.
Right.
Who knows how long it's been in there, just chilling. You know,
well, and look how easy you're literally doing it while you're having a conversation.
And it feels so good. Like it feels amazing.
It does feel nice. You feel like you're getting a deep clean.
And the most satisfying part of those $300 hydration facials is they'll ask you at the end, they're like, do you want to see your waist chamber?
You're like,
do you want to see everything? And like everyone's like, yes.
Every time.
And when you're done, look at that.
Wow.
So that's everything I just pulled out of my skin.
Wow.
And see, don't freak out. You'll see little floaties and like all kinds of craziness in there, even if you take really good care. So that's my facial that I'm still infusing. So I could finish up. Then when it's done, I'll go ding, 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 like almost like your dryer, like do, 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 do. Like
you're done.
Yep. And then there's a little trap door. You just open that up, rinse, everything goes down the drain, and then just warm soapy water to clean it. But use it minimum twice a week. It's gentle enough. You could use it every day. So if you're like, oh my gosh, skin of the stars, I bet they get a hydration facial every day. Well, you can too. You own this technology for life.
If you go to a med spa or a plastic surgeon to get this type of treatment, you are going to be spending about $200 to $300, depending on where you go. And for this, you're spending less than that for the tool that you can use over and over and over in the convenience of your schedule as well, right? Because like you're a busy mom, I'm busy. It's nice to just have 5 minutes to do this versus being like, I got to make an appointment. I got to drive there. I got to drive back. It's a game changer in every way.
Thank you so much. I love that you said that too, because you're right. Like honestly, for less than the time it would take on the phone to book the appointment,
right?
You could be done. And for me, that is
amen.
Like the best. Like that is the best. So I'm so happy that you love it. It's such
I love it.
Technology. Thank you. Thank you. It's so easy. And the price is $199. I just begged our team. I'm like, we have to keep this under 200. Even if it's very advanced technology, all of the patents, all the engineering that went into it. And I hope everyone knows that we fought really hard to be able to do that. We should be charging more is the truth. But in truth, where I sit, I wanted something that was accessible.
Jamie, thank you so much for being here. You're beautiful. Your products are amazing. We appreciate the education and the care that you put into everything. And we will be following along with all the new products that I'm sure you're going to keep coming out with.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm grateful for everyone's love and support, and it means the world to me. So thank you. Big hugs to everyone. And yes, enjoy. And I want to see pictures of everyone's waist chambers. The hashtag is Pore Confessions.
I love it. I love it. Thanks, Jamie. For the full interview, just check out the Be Zen with Brit podcast. Thank you so much for watching Be Zen TV. I love having you here. Be sure to tune in and join us for our next episode, October 6th. You can set your DVR so you don't miss it. And in the meantime, you can listen to the Be Zen with Brit weekly podcast, available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Be Zen, and I'll see you next time.